He's a special hockey player. He's intelligent. He's extremely diligent on both sides of the puck. His offensive numbers are pretty elite, but he also is very responsible defensively. You guys have heard me talk about projection, and we felt like this player has the upside that often you don't get at that spot in the draft. So the way the list was falling, we were starting to get pretty excited this player might be there for us, and so we're excited to welcome Zach, and I guess we like Winnipeg kids.
What was the choice like, given the fact you had a bunch of forwards you could have taken, given how the earlier picks have gone?
Yeah, it's why you have to do the work before. We did make some pretty focused effort to trade up higher into the draft for certain things that we were trying to accomplish, and it's really tough, as you see every year. It's very rare to be able to do that, so it's a challenge. But the way it started unfolding, and our list was getting set, the fact that Zach was there was pretty special for us, just based on how we rated him.
Some of the traits that you stated out about him are work ethic and competitiveness. How did you see those really come out as you and your group have seen 2 years of him?
Well, yeah, in the scout meetings, you described it well. The work ethic, the competitiveness, the intelligence, the passion, the stuff that I look for is in spades. But one of the things that I thought was interesting as we were going through our scouting meetings, every single scout that had watched him over the course of the last basically 2 years, because remember how many times we saw him in the Savoy draft as well, said they just generally walked away from the game saying he was the best player on the ice, no matter what, in who the scout was or when they saw him. And so I just think kids like that have special qualities, and he has that kind of self-awareness and understanding of who he is as a player and what he has to do to have success. And ultimately, these are kids that you're looking for projection, not just looking for what they are today. And we think he's going to project into a really good NHL hockey player.
He talked about, despite his size, he'll go to the dirty areas. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, he has no problem competing and getting to the inside. And he's a really intelligent player. Like there's times where he'll slow things down, and then he'll speed it up. He can change the pace, but he's fearless. He plays a hard game, and we have a big team. The way I look at our team right now, we have a lot of big players on our team, which is a great thing. I think you can get carried away one way or the other on size, but I think when you're trying to build out your team and you have some pretty big pieces moving forward that are also big hockey players, then you can add around that too. And that's, for me, size is not even a question. I just think this kid's a competitive, smart hockey player that's going to succeed.
That's the way a playoff player goes, getting to dirty areas, getting in. What does that mean, a guy who just got picked by the Buffalo Sabres is talking about being a playoff player?
Well, yeah, it puts a smile on my face, and he's a hockey player. This kid loves to play, and I already got texts from Peyton Krebs and Matt Savoy, and that are pretty excited about this kid, and he billeted at the same house as Peyton Krebs, and he said he's going to fit in our locker room someday. Great. So there's the character part that we look for as well, but someone that loves to play in playoff hockey and be in big moments is the type of guy we're looking for.
A little yesterday about the franchise move to Winnipeg. Now you've got 2 first-round guys dealing with that situation. Does that put it on more of a critical mass in your mind to just see what you can?
Yeah, it's unique. There's some unknown for us, but we'll monitor it. We'll pay attention to what's going on. But we look at the long term, so we didn't let it deter us from anything. But it's definitely something we talk about, and we'll continue to monitor. Yeah, I think that's a great point, and I think he's one of these kids that as one of our scouts was telling the story that his 16-year-old year, they weren't sure would he be able to play at that age in the Western Hockey League. All of a sudden, he got there, played a little bit, and it was like, you can't take him out of the lineup. This kid's here. And then the next year, in his underage year, the stuff that he was able to accomplish, and then this year obviously speaks for itself. So this is a player that's been on our radar for a long time. And part of it, honestly, when you have that many viewings too, it just gives you that much more comfort, live and video, just with obviously the relationship with Savoy.
Kev, go ahead.
Once you made that pick, did you have any ideas of trying to get back into the first round?
Yeah, we worked hard. I'd say from 21 back to the end, we basically made an offer on every one of those picks, I would say, and to get back to into the first round, and it didn't work. But they were strong offers. You know what? I understand when, especially in the first round, when there's a lot of work that goes into these draft picks, and you get excited as you're coming that this could be the guy you've been working to get. So, not surprised that you're not able to do it, but we certainly had a plan. We worked at it, and it takes two to make a deal, though. So,
Kev, to that.
I mean, not a single trade.
Yeah, I was actually just saying that to the guys at the table. That's shocking. I don't know. It's I don't know what to make of that, to be honest. I guess I got to process that a little bit, but it is surprising.
Kev, to that point, given the chatter that a lot of GMs have talked about in the last few days, does that make it the lack of trades even more surprising?
I guess it does. I mean, it wasn't from lack of effort. So that I think there was a lot of people trying to make deals that just didn't come together. So I don't think there was anything different about this draft in terms of preparing for the first round or going through the first round that felt different, or there was a reason for that. I just think it just happened that way.
When you see a run on defenseman like that happen, maybe kind of out of the blue, does it make you pause for a second? That's what's happening.
That's a good question. That's why it's so important to put your list together and have those discussions before, because we talked about that exact scenario. What if this type of thing plays out? Where will we be? And so we've kind of rehearsed that, and there's no way to go through until you go through the real thing. But I am a very big believer that you have to have those debates before. So when it comes to the time to make the pick, you're aligned, everybody's in, and then we're calling that player that we believe is going to be the Buffalo Sabre, and that's what we did tonight.
Zach has a true big personality, I guess I would say, plus the mullet and everything else. I mean, when you go back to the combine, you think about your conversations with him. I guess what stood out, what I guess left you kind of thinking about the player a little bit more as you got closer to this day?
Yeah, that's the interviews are unique in the sense of you get a feel. You're not spending a long time with these players. Our guys get to know them over the year, and you're learning and stuff. But in the 20 or 25 minutes that you get at the combine, there's just certain kids that give you this feel that they're a hockey player, and they're just winners, and they have such a desire to play the game and compete. And you checked all those boxes, And I just. You guys know over the last few years my style. I just think if you can add talented, passionate people that just believe that, playing in the National Hockey League is a privilege and an honor, and will do everything they can to achieve success, it's a great place to start, and Zach certainly has that.
Was it that not only your scouts have seen a bunch of them, but your development staff moving out there, probably even closer than usual?
Added advantage, I would say. That came up a lot in our scout meetings, because obviously our player development staff comes to all of our scout meetings, and we continuously, as we were debating, went back to our player development staff saying, okay, you saw this player almost more than anyone, give us your insights. So, and they also enter reports in our system and everything, so you track those during the year. But yeah, there was a high level of passion and want for Zach from everyone across the board. Analytics crew, our development staff, our Western Hockey League scouts, and then ultimately up through Jerry Ford.
Those trade discussions that you're having in Tingsburg, maybe you're talking with the GM, and the GM says, well, this guy's still on the board.
Every one of them. I mean, that's really what happens. You put the framework of a deal together. And I haven't been part in my, years as a general manager yet where you would agree on something until the draft pick, likely before, or one or two before is made. So, and that's essentially why you do the work before. But then tonight, the picks couldn't get traded because the team wanted to take the next guy they had. And that's understandable, because this is also a very deep, good draft. At least we believe it is. We'll find out in a few years, I guess. Well, I would say it was it's hard to explain how I would say it. Close, I don't know, because you can feel like in a phone call it's a hard no and you're not close. We had a lot more than that, and they were meaningful, and what would it look like and how would we do it. And so in going through the process, getting to the point fairly far down the road, and then the no happens. So I'd say closer than a hang up the phone on me.
So Connor Bedard, looking ahead to next season, is going to be the front runner for Rookie of the Year, but I think you could agree Buffalo has another contender in Devin Levi. You think he has the ceiling to be able to compete with him for that award, even though different positions?
Yeah, I think it's, we learned through this year that my vote doesn't count, because I think we had a pretty special rookie this past year. And you know what, we feel really good about what we've started to develop in Buffalo with our pipeline and the depth of talent that we have, especially, guys under the age of probably 25, 26 years old. And Devin fits in that group. What I also love is that Donninger and I talk about this all the time. We don't tap someone and say, you have to be the savior of this team, or you have to be this. And that's across the board, from our goaltenders through our defense and forwards. So we believe that we're starting to put together a really good, talented group that'll help each other. And then if individual awards pop from that, terrific. But we ultimately want the big team award at the end, and that's what we're pushing for.